What is going on, Spider-Man PS4 fans? It's your boy Amaziah here, and I think it's suffice to say that people are going batshit insane. We are so close to getting this game, 10 days away. Don't forget to check out the stream on September 6th, late at night. I'm going to be going live. We're going to be playing until, literally, till I just can't go no more. We're going to be playing till I just can't go no more. So if you want to stay tuned for that, hit that subscribe button. You don't have to check out all of my content, but if you want to be tuned in for that, hit that subscribe button, baby. We're going to be going hard with Spider-Man PS4. And yes, I mean that sexually. But let's go ahead and get into today's news. Of course, one thing I want to speak on before we get into it, there was the Spider-Man PS4 leaks, which I will not be talking about because, of course, Insomniac does have a history of taking down people who covered leaked information. But when it comes to that, of course, definitely I can respect their choice to not want what was shown off. I did look at it, but I can respect their choice to not want what was shown off to be used in, of course, content, because the way people would do it would literally fuck over everybody. Because when people go to search for the news of the day and stuff, of course, today there may be a Just the Facts with Jameson video, and of course when people go to look for that information, they go to Evan Falarka to get the news, they go to Caboose to get the news, Super Rebel, I can't think of his name. I'll put like a image of his channel in the video to actually make sure that you guys know who I'm talking about. God, I'm gonna get some flack. No, I'm joking. But okay, but when it comes to that, I don't want to do that, because when people go to their channels and stuff, and I'm not saying they would do it. I'm not saying they would do it. What I'm saying is when people go to look for that information, there would be some asshole who puts the entirety of the leak in their thumbnail. So definitely I can understand why they wouldn't want it to happen. Now, when it comes to leaks themselves, when it comes to video games, I don't understand what's the full weight behind leaks. I mean, a lot of people, especially if they're not story-based, because with video games it's different from movies, novels, and things like that. When it comes to those experiences, the whole point of that is, of course, reading that and finding out that information for the first time. When it comes to video games, it's experiencing it for the first time. So when it comes to leaks, it never really registers to me what's the problem, but I guess I can respect Insomniac and other people who don't want that information leaked to them. Well, I know I can, because I'm not going to make a video on it. But other than that, let's get to what you're here for today. So a Twitter user going by the name of Sevi0315 asked James Stevenson, "How long is the whole game, or are you not allowed to give an answer?" And James Stevenson replied with, "Our average playtester took around 20 hours on default difficulty, but some spent a lot longer if they did a ton of side quests / activities." So we do know that, of course, the side quests and activities in this game do have some kind of story basis, as DLCs will be coming out, with the first one that we know of being the Black Cat DLC. I believe this information was given out this year when, of course, Game Informer actually got the opportunity to sit down with Brian Antahar and play the game and stuff for a little bit. He actually did reveal that the first DLC will be Black Cat. So with that being the case, it's definitely logical to believe that potentially Taskmaster could get his very own DLC, and also, of course, Harry could get his own DLC in whichever kind of way or format that may come in. Even if that format does wind up coming in the form of course, Peter finding out Harry's mom is actually alive or some shit like that, or even Harry's mom could potentially be the Goblin of this universe. That's definitely likely. If you like that idea or not, that's up to you, but that's definitely likely. So depending on how much time they add to the game with that, and of course whether or not you're going to play those, because definitely I think you will want to be ready for the DLC. Even someone who only gets the game to play the main story missions and only dabble in, of course, the side quests, just to, of course, get their stats up for the missions, the story missions. People who actually do it in that fashion will definitely probably hop back on the game and go through like the side quests and stuff with Black Cat, Taskmaster, and Harry, and there will be more to come when the game actually releases, so there could be more characters than just that, and Harry may not even have a DLC, and we'll probably get a DLC for another character entirely that will be revealed later on within the game, or we could potentially even have, of course, gameplay segments and stuff, or not gameplay segments, but we can have DLCs that actually take us back in time to a point in time in which Spider-Man first encountered Vulture, when Spider-Man first encountered Rhino, when he first encountered, of course, Electro in this universe. There could be those DLCs as well. We just simply don't know. But when it comes to like this kind of stuff, and when you really think about it, 20 hours for the base game. I'm thinking somewhere around 5 hours dedicated to the whole Mr. Negative plot A. Of course, 15 hours dedicated to the Sinister Six, because you want to give those characters enough time to feel fleshed out. From their character descriptions, they sound like they have a lot of depth to them. And of course, it would be in Spider-Man PS4's best interest to actually dive into the depth of those characters. Like Vulture, I think, has spinal cancer in this game. And with him having spinal cancer, that's a huge way to actually incentivize him to be the villain that he is, essentially. So if Doc Ock is the actual character that does, of course, set all of them free and start this whole Sinister Six parade, of course, if they do that, then of course what they could do is have it to where Doc Ock essentially, gives him this new suit that saves him from his cancer, and he has no choice. Otherwise, of course, Doc Ock could literally put a directive into the fucking suit and it'll make him do it anyways. Or he'll essentially be a mind slave or something like that. You see what I'm saying? So there's definitely a lot there to actually build these characters up. So I think the first plot A with Mr. Negative is probably going to get the first 5 hours. 15 hours is going to be dedicated to the whole Sinister Six line, and plot B with Silver Sable, Norman Osborn, the Sinister Six and stuff. So with that being the case, of course, then take into account the DLCs. So far, we know that one is coming with Black Cat. Depending on how long these things actually are, I'm thinking somewhere around 3 to 5 hours. Then this number now jumps to 25. Taskmaster, this number will now jump to 30. Of course, if there's other villains and stuff that they're going to introduce, such as, of course, like, Tombstone, which is the guy who I really want to come into the story, then that would be another 5. They could literally build the game up to 40 hours over the span of time with the DLCs. But as far as the core game is concerned, I feel like if they truly dedicated themselves to writing an amazing story, and I'm not making excuses here, I truly feel like if they dedicated themselves to doing an amazing story, making the most of the characters that are going to be in the base game alone with their stories, then I'm okay with 20 hours, because 20 hours is a lot more, congested, and it's not congested in a sense that it's going to be bad. Like, of course, Spider-Man 3, of course, that was too short of a film to actually try and do all of those different villains, but I feel like it's congested enough to where there won't be that much filler. There won't ever be anything to where you're playing the game and you're like, oh my god, this is monotonous. Why the hell am I doing this? There will never be a moment like that, I feel like, because they tried to crunch it and tell the story that they want to tell. And this led to them not doing a 40-hour plus game, just because of the fact that, of course, all of these different characters are here. They have the characters, they have these stories that they want to tell, and them telling these stories through these 20 hours definitely sound like it could be very concise and very tight. It won't try to explain everything leading to plot holes and stuff like that, or try to over exaggerate things leading to plot holes. It will all be concise and it'll tell the story that it wants to tell. But let me know how you feel about the 20 hours. Do you think that this actually does still pique your interest? Because I know the time span of a game can definitely ruin an experience for someone, and if someone does express that in the comment section, be easy on them. Of course, there's everyone is paying $60 to play this. If someone doesn't like the idea that the base story will only be 20 hours and they'll have to wait until the DLCs release 2 to 3 months from now, of course, it's understandable to me, and I hope it's understandable to you as well. I'm not saying, of course, you can't disagree with them. I'm saying be respectful towards their opinion. It's $60 that you have to drop on the game, and of course, a lot of people may feel like they'll just wait until the game is probably worth half of that, and then finally drop the money to play it themselves. But other than that, don't forget to come through for the stream next week on Friday. I'm gonna say Friday, but if it goes live Thursday, then I'll be playing it Thursday. But I want to say Friday because that's pretty much like 12 a.m. that morning for sure. We're going to be going ham with some Spider-Man PS4 till I just can't do it no more. But other than that, this is being boy Amaziah. Don't forget to do a little A-class gaming and everything you do. Don't forget to keep it A-class. I'm going to tell this train to shut the fuck up, and peace the heck out.
What's left of me? What's left of me? and you and I.